This is Roccat's newest gaming mouse, and it's jam-packed with all of their latest technology in an extremely lightweight design and with some pretty nice looking RGB lighting. At launch, it's selling for about $60 US, so let's take a closer look and see if it's worth it. The mouse comes with a small quick installation guide and a package with some extra glide skates. The Burst Pro is intended to compete in the ultra lightweight category, and it's very obvious as soon as you handle the mouse. If you've never held a mouse like this before, prepare to be shocked because it's just unbelievable how light these things are. Roccat claims the weight's about 68 grams, and my scale seems to agree. The dimensions are 120 millimeters long, 58 millimeters wide, and about 39 millimeters high, and it uses a symmetrical and ergonomic shape that's best suited for right-handed users just because of the placement of the side buttons. I consider this medium-sized, and as far as grip style goes, it's almost like they designed it to be good for fingertip and claw grips. It's almost perfect, actually. It just feels so comfortable in my hand when I grip it that way. But then when I try to palm grip it, it's a bit of a different story. It just doesn't feel quite as comfortable, and it's just not like a natural feel, if that makes any sense. So if you're a fingertip or a claw gripper, I think you're gonna absolutely love this shape and design. But if you're a palm gripper, maybe not so much. To get the weight down this low, Roccat used a honeycomb shell design, and that's not really anything new out there on the market when you look at gaming mice, but it is different than the competition because it's a closed shell. It's not just open, and that should really help keep dust, dirt, and debris away from the electronics on the inside, which is obviously a good thing. And they also used a translucent plastic on the outside, and that really helps all that RGB lighting shine through. After testing some of Roccat's other products recently, I really had high expectations for the build quality when it comes to the Burst Pro, and you know what? They didn't let me down. This thing is really solid feeling despite the fact that it's so lightweight. Like, you can't bend it or flex it, there's no creaking noises, nothing out of the ordinary, which is really impressive for such a lightweight mouse. I think they really nailed the design and layout of the buttons on this thing, and it's really true when you look at the side buttons. The size, shape, layout, everything is just perfect, and it makes them really easy to press and easy to find no matter how fast the gameplay gets. The scroll wheel's kinda moderate or loose in terms of stiffness, and it's really grippy and easy to press down to actuate the button press. And there's also a giant DPI switch right on top, and again, it's just a really nice responsive feeling button. The primary buttons are definitely narrower than I'm used to seeing, but in practical usage, you don't really notice it, or at least that's been my experience. Roccat's using their Titan optical switches that use light beams to register clicks instead of mechanical contacts, and the lack of moving parts results in a crazy durability rating of 100 million clicks. On the bottom, there's two PTFE glide skates that are supposedly heat treated to increase performance. I'm definitely not a materials expert, but I just don't understand how heat treating is supposed to increase the gliding performance of the mouse, but guess what? It does somehow, because this is the most buttery smooth mouse movement I have ever experienced. I have no idea what heat treating does to these PTFE glide skates, but it's awesome, and I hope we see it on more mice in the future. Another thing that's helping to reduce friction is the cable. Roccat calls this their Phantomflex cable, and it's really similar to other cables that you'll see on high-end, high-performance gaming mice out there. It's really flexible, but at the end of the day, it's still a noticeable cable. This is a corded mouse, and you're gonna notice it when you're playing games and when you're using it and dragging it across your desk. Now, it is definitely better than a standard rubberized cable, but at the end of the day, if your goal is to not feel any cable drag, then the only real way you're gonna accomplish that is by going full wireless. The sensor on here is a 3389 Owl-Eye optical sensor with 16,000 DPI, 50G acceleration, and 400 IPS tracking speed. I've been playing through Doom Eternal with the Burst Pro, which I actually think is a perfect game to test a gaming mouse, and it was awesome. The most noticeable thing is just how effortless it is to move the mouse around. It just feels so light and buttery smooth. It's amazing. And I thought my Viper Ultimate was light and smooth, but this Burst Pro really takes it to a whole new level. I've always been of the opinion that smaller and lighter mice are better for aiming in first-person shooter games, and this one makes me think that even more. It's seriously awesome. Roccat's Swarm software is actually pretty good and fairly easy to use. I've gotten used to it by testing their gaming headsets and keyboards, but this was my first time using it with a gaming mouse. There's lots of settings to configure and customize and fine-tune the mouse to your liking, and you can also save your settings right to the onboard memory, so everything's stored right on the mouse itself, which is a really nice feature. And obviously we gotta mention the RGB lighting because it looks awesome on the Burst Pro. The way it shines through the honeycombs and gets diffused by the translucent shell, it's absolutely gorgeous. So at $60, do I recommend the Burst Pro? Yes, I definitely do. This is a really exciting gaming mouse, and yeah, I'm totally excited about it, and you probably noticed that just from watching this video so far. There's not a whole lot of negative things that I can say about it. The only real thing that stands out to me is that in my experience with it, I don't think it's the best mouse for palm grippers, but you know, that is a personal preference type thing. Grip style is highly subjective, so just keep that in mind. But for everyone else, if you're using a fingertip or a claw grip, this is one of the best mice you can get right now as far as I'm concerned without going wireless. So the purchasing links are going to be down in the description. I want you to leave us a comment down below and let us know what you think of the Burst Pro, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And we'll see you.